And a beauty by Antonio Brown.
Ball over the middle, wide open, Odell Beckham Jr. He's across midfield.
That's Antonio Brown. He caught it inside the 10-yard line.
What a play by number 13.
Is he the best receiver in the game now?
What's up, everybody? Welcome to a new edition of Move the Sticks. DJ Bucky Brooks here, and Bucky, gonna play another game of who would you rather have today?
Okay, I like that.
You want to jump right in? By the way, don't be intimidated because you're going up against the Brawny Towel guy today. With the shirt that I'm rocking.
You are looking kind of buff.
Well, I can sell. I can sell paper towels and I can win debates, and that's what I plan on doing. At least 50% of that here today. All right, Bucky. This is what we're doing today. We're talking about who would you rather have, and this is not necessarily who's the better players. Who would you rather have on your team? And we're talking wide receivers. Antonio Brown, who's been doing his thing with Ben Roethlisberger and the Pittsburgh Steelers for a few years now, and then the new kid on the block, Odell Beckham Jr. We saw what he did just the other night. He's been phenomenal. And so we're going to go for the future, for you, who you want on your team. Who would you rather have? These two guys behind us here, two good choices to choose from.
No, two very good players. I don't think you can go wrong with either choice. Antonio Brown is a spectacular playmaker, one of the best players that we've seen in our league in some time. And then you talk about Odell Beckham Jr., a guy that is absolutely ripping the league apart.
Yeah, look at these numbers here, Buck. What jumps out at when you look at these numbers side by side here? Not going to put you on the carpet here to make your choice, but just kind of take a gander at these numbers. What do they say to you?
Well, the production, obviously, Antonio Brown, 100 receptions. You think about Odell Beckham Jr. putting it in the paint, 12 touchdowns, 13 plays over 25 yards, but Antonio Brown goes right back with 15. I mean, two guys that are getting it done as their number one receiver.
Yeah, this is, again, no wrong answer, but we can still have our own opinion.
I mean, you can kind of be wrong.
Well, you're getting ready to be. Go ahead, Buck. Your choice between these two. You got to choose one. Where you going?
Well, I mean, I like to score touchdowns. You like scoring touchdowns?
I like touchdowns, yeah.
I mean, I know I produce a TD as a video game player, and the only way you can win video games is to put the ball in the paint. So I'm going to go with Odell Beckham in this debate. Look, 24 touchdowns in 25 games. I'm not a mathematician, but I would say that's like a touchdown a game. And so every time my guy shows up on the floor, he's going to deliver a big play. And talking about in 2 seasons, most receptions in the first 2 seasons of his career, 176, 15 100-yard games. Look, 6 in a row this year. You're talking about a guy that completely dominates on the perimeter, and he is not even playing with their number 2 receiver, Victor Cruz. So you're talking about a one-man gang on the perimeter, a guy that's not getting a lot of assistance from anyone outside of Eli Manning throwing the ball to him any and everywhere. I think Odell Beckham Jr. is the clear choice in this debate. I mean, he is one of the best playmakers that we've seen in some time. I think he's revolutionized the game based on what he's doing on the outside.
Well, I'm not going to, I like Odell a lot, and I'm not going to go in on him, but I just want to, before we kind of work my way over to my side of the argument, I just got 2 questions for you. Okay. Number one, has Eli Manning missed any games this year?
No, he has not.
So Eli, okay, I'm just going to write this. So Eli, no missed games, okay. And then on that receiving core that he has there, who else would divert the ball away from him? Like, where would you, if you're Eli Manning, and say, okay, I got some options here. I don't have to just give everything to one guy. I don't have to just spoon-fed one guy. Who are the other good options in that passing attack?
Well, I would say that you have to.
Who starts at tight end?
I would just say feed the beast. Ty. Will Ty starts at tight end. He's a nice tight end, undrafted. Look, we can feed him in.
Okay.
Like, I think he scored. Against. Look, he's a
Will
nice
Ty,
player.
Ruben Randall.
Look, 2nd-round pick. They expended capital to get Ruben Randall to be the compliment guy. Every now and then, my guy gets tired. They need to throw it somewhere else so he can get a block.
Okay, so we have established, just for the record, that Eli Manning has not missed any games, and that everybody else around him stinks.
I mean, but regardless of that, like, I like big plays.
We agree on
that.
I
like guys that can put up big numbers, big plays. I think we're going to throw up some stats so we can see my guy and what he shines in. Can I get some stats on my guy about what he does in terms of a big play perspective? Like, let's just look at the numbers.
Okay, so yards after catch, Antonio Brown. Receptions of 20-plus yards, Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
Receptions of 50-plus yards, they're even. And your guy has more long touchdowns. So you get one of those numbers.
I mean, that's 6 more. Like 6
one of those
36
numbers.
More points. That's part of the reasons why they're still competitive.
Was it Mike Vick and Landry Jones playing a couple games for him this year?
Mike Vick is a Pro Bowl player.
Come on, man.
He used to be the face of Madden. Like, he's one of the best players to play in this league. Like, I can't give you a knock on that. Like, I like Antonio Brown, but I'm going to say Odell Beckham Jr. and what he has done in 25 games. Talking about 15 times he's topped the century mark, 24 tubs in 25 games. Like, that is crazy production. Like, even in video games, you can't get guys to put it in the paint that much.
Well, if you want to talk about production, we can talk about over 1,600 receiving yards last year. We can talk about a guy who's going to probably end up in that same ballpark again this year in Antonio Brown, and that's my choice. And the reason why I'm going to say Antonio Brown is a couple different factors. Number one, I can play him inside. I can play him outside. Number two, we talk about size. Okay, he's a little bit shorter. But to me, that's a good thing. There's no surface area. You cannot get a glove on him. You want to go up and play press against him? It ain't going to happen. You can't get him off. You can't get him on the line of scrimmage. He can run every route you want. You talk, okay, well, size, he plays big. He'll go up and play over the top of you. And then a little bonus, I'm going to throw this in there. You need a big punt return. Go ahead and let him punt it. Do you as a kid, right? You like firemen, right?
I do like firemen.
Do you like sliding down the pole?
Yeah, I
in the
do.
firehouse?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Antonio Brown does it after he scores long punt returns.
You know, that is...
Would you like gymnastics? Do you like guys do flips in the end zone?
Look, he is everything.
He's going to give you some fun, too.
I like movies. I like New Jack City. He kind of reminds me of Nino Brown with his haircut and all those other things. But, you know, like, I kind of take it back to, like, the essence of when you're a kid and when we're playing at the park. Like, I don't know if you were ever playing basketball at the park. You take a jump shot. You say, oh, Michael Jordan. Every time I go to the park and see kids playing football, everybody is OBJ. Everybody is Odell Beckham
That's
Jr.
because they
trying to
can't
make one-hand catches because the guy's an icon. He is what everyone aspires to be at that position. And you talk about Antonio Brown being able to play inside and outside. He does do that. He's a nice route runner. But my guy, Odell Beckham Jr., does all that, and he gives you a little more sizzle, a little more pizzazz. And if he wanted to go back and return punts, he absolutely could put those in the paint. We saw what he did at LSU, one of the more prolific dual-threat playmakers in our game in terms of a receiver and punt returner. He is dynamic. They're just saving him because he's so good at wide receiver. They don't want to kind of expose him to the extra hits.
Before we get to some next-gen stats, we're going to pump up some more stats here in just a second. I just want to ask you, you're a God-fearing man. You're an honest man.
Absolutely, yeah.
So if I give you a question, you can guarantee me give me an honest answer.
I give you an answer.
You honestly think that Odell is a better route runner than Antonio Brown?
Oh, no. He's not a better route runner. He's a more spectacular route runner, meaning that when you see Antonio Brown run routes and he gets open, you're like, oh, okay, that's a nice route by Antonio. But when you see Odell Beckham Jr. make a play, like you saw that double move he ran against the Miami Dolphins. I'm sure in your house,
Bucky.
you probably dropped your glass of Kool-Aid.
How many years?
Because he went deep. Like, that's what he does.
How many years has it been since you played in the league?
Oh, that's been a long time.
Decade? Has it been a decade?
Maybe 15 years.
You could still run by that Miami secondary.
Maybe.
Brent Grimes, are you kidding me?
Brent Grimes is like one of the best corners in the league.
Yeah, said 5 years ago.
He took him to school. He owned him.
He's done.
He
does.
does.
He's been giving up plays.
He does.
Every
He
week.
forked him. He forked him on Monday night.
Let's look at some next-gen stats here, because I know we're big on that around here.
Yeah, no, I like next-gen stats.
So let's see. I'm guessing Antonio Brown's faster. Yes, he is. Max speed, just a little bit.
He is a little faster. He runs around more, too. I see he has more distance, maybe because of punt returns. He gets more touches than my guy, too. Like, my guy has all those 100-yard games. They keep feeding your guy.
Look at these numbers right here, and just imagine all these numbers in general. He played games with Landry Jones and a 94-year-old Mike Vick this year. When Ben Roethlisberger's in the lineup, his numbers go through the roof.
I mean, yeah, that's nice, but, like, that's a nice little debate because Landry Jones and Mike Vick, they can't throw the ball to him. But if the guy was wide open, he could get the ball, I would think. Well, I would think, like, quarterbacks like that. You're a quarterback. You like to throw the guys that are wide open.
Antonio Brown's wide open all the time.
He's always wide open. Vertical, intermediate, short. You want to look at little dump passes you can go. He's big and physical.
We need a next-gen stat to show how much separation there is, because I would dispute that. I think you look at Antonio Brown, the separation he gets, I would say is even greater. Because as you said, Bucky, he's a better route runner.
He is a better route.
Thank you. I think we should end it right there.
I think my guy's a little more electric in everything that he does. And the reason that he doesn't get open, he kind of has a flair for dramatic. He likes making posters. You had those posters on your wall? You remember when George Gervin had the ice?
I had.
So now, like,
I had Bo Jackson with the bat.
You're a nice family man. You have a kid at home. I'm sure your kid is.
I have 4 kids, man.
You know, I know your son is not running around flipping like he's Antonio Brown. He wants to be OBJ. He wants to have
one confession.
shoes. He probably did the hurdles in the living room the other day after you saw that.
Okay, I'm going to be honest. He did do the hurdles in the league.
Yeah.
And he does want to play catch and catch everything with one hand. So my son would agree with you.
Yeah.
And he is getting, hopefully he's not watching this because I would disclose what he's getting for Christmas. It's not an Antonio Brown jersey. I'll just leave it at that. TD, what do we have? You put this out to Twitter, right? Producer TD, what did the folks say?
Yes, we did. And the folks agree with your son, actually. They go, it's a tight vote, though. 52% Odell Beckham, 48% Antonio Brown. If you're watching on YouTube, check it out right there.
Close call. Be honest, how many different times did you log in under fake accounts and vote for Beckham Jr. in this thing?
Well, to be fair, I like both. I'm a big fan of both. The Odell Beckham has probably the best splash reel in the league. Splash reel. I like it.
You don't like the fireman pole or front flips, apparently. Those aren't splashy enough for you?
They're not quite flashy enough. Like, those are nice celebrations, but they're not quite. But, to celebrate, you got to score. My guy scores every game.
Look, I like Odell. I'm not going to say anything more bad about him. I do like Odell Beckham Jr. I like Bucky Brooks, and I like doing the Move the Sticks podcast.
I like Antonio Brown.
I like Antonio Brown, too. I like him a little bit more than Odell. You can check out our Move the Sticks program on NFL.com/podcast as well as YouTube.com/NFL. And please, let us know what you think about this debate. Leave some comments right below the screen down here. A little spot for you. Tell us who's right and who's wrong.